Let's just jump right into it. Picture this in your head for a second. It's the middle of the night, you're staring blankly at the ceiling, and you've got absolutely nothing left in the tank. You can practically hear the sad, slow piano music playing in the background, right? Well, in today's explainer, we're diving into a source text that perfectly captures this exact agonizing moment of complete physical and emotional exhaustion. We're going to unpack this incredible microjourney that shows us the truly transformative power of maternal support and why unwavering perseverance is absolutely crucial, even when literally every fiber of your being is screaming at you to just stop.
So, in the original text, a son sends this incredibly raw, desperate message to his mom in the dead of night. Let's really analyze what he's saying here. I am exhausted. Look, this isn't about just needing a good night's sleep. This is deep, soul-level fatigue. It's a full-on crisis of identity. I mean, when you text the person who literally gave you life to say, I don't think I will ever amount to anything, you are admitting total defeat. You're stripping off all your armor, dropping all your pride, and just presenting your absolute most fragile self. We only ever send messages like this when our own internal compass is completely shattered. So, that brings us to section 1, the brink of despair, reaching the breaking point.
Which leads right into section 2, the agony of silence, that awful space between desperation and hope. Okay, let's dive into this timeline, because this is brutal. Sending a desperate plea out into the void and getting absolute silence back? Terrifying. So, at night, the message goes out in pure despair. By midnight, he gets that dreaded seen status, but no reply. Just think about the sheer psychological torture of being left on red during a massive life crisis. Hitting your breaking point shatters any illusion of control you had, and sitting there alone in the dark, that silence just amplifies every single insecurity. The text notes he spends the entire night just crying and waiting. But you know what? This agonizing purge was actually kind of necessary. He had to sit with his failure, empty himself out completely, so that when morning finally comes and the phone is picked up, there's actually room for something new.
And then the sun comes up. Section 3, the maternal anchor, a timely intervention.
As morning breaks, the mom steps in as this almost superhero-like figure in his journey. And I really want you to notice the specific phrasing in her timely message of encouragement. She doesn't coddle him. She doesn't say, oh, it's okay, honey. Just come home. You don't have to try anymore. Nope. She says, son, those who give up never win. I believe in you. She masterfully flips the script. Instead of just comforting him, she empowers him, injecting him with her own unwavering faith. It's a massive psychological reset for a guy whose own self-belief was just entirely wiped out. This brings us to a really crucial point, the actual definition of endurance. Endurance is the ability to remain steadfast and persist through exhaustion, failure, and that overwhelming heavy urge to just quit. Her words acted as an anchor. He had completely run out of his own ability to persist, right? But by telling him, I believe in you, she essentially loaned him the endurance he lacked. It's a powerful reminder that endurance is the key to overcoming failure, and that exhaustion is really just a feeling. It doesn't have to dictate your final move.
Moving on to section 4, the choice to persevere, internalizing external belief. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive tug-of-war happening in his head at the threshold of success. On one side, you've got this intense, paralyzing urge to quit, that heavy, I don't think I will ever amount to anything mindset. But then, on the exact opposite side, you have this equal opposing force of unwavering faith from his mom. I believe in you. This external validation actively neutralizes his internal doubt. Because here's the thing, someone can toss you a lifeline, but you still have to consciously choose to grab it. You have to let that borrowed belief completely override your own imposter syndrome. So here is the actual anatomy of his turnaround. Step 1 is the spark, getting that timely message of encouragement. But step 2, that's where the heavy lifting happens. That's making the conscious, deliberate decision to persist despite the exhaustion. It was on that single, painful morning that he decided, no, I'm not going to quit. And that one decision directly triggered step 3, achieving the success that literally just hours before seemed completely impossible. It's crazy to think about, but the very foundation of his ultimate triumph was laid on the absolute hardest day of his life. And finally, section 5, wisdom from the other side, the retrospective view of success. Looking back from the mountaintop of his success, this retrospective wisdom gives you chills, doesn't it? If I had quit that day, I would be nothing today. Wow. That drives home such a critical realization. Professional and personal triumph almost always lies just one tiny, agonizing step beyond your absolute breaking point. That exact moment where you feel you physically and mentally cannot go a single step further, yeah, that is very often the precise moment right before the breakthrough. He knows for a fact that his whole reality today hinged entirely on the choice he made after a night of sitting in the dark, crying in silence. So I want to turn this right back around to you. Think about your own life for a second. If success really is just beyond the urge to quit, what are you giving up on today? Think about that tough project, or that struggling relationship, or that career goal that feels a million miles away right now. Are you sitting in that dark night just waiting for a reply? I want to challenge anyone watching this explainer who feels burned out right now to rethink where your actual breaking point is. Because I promise you, you probably have just a little more endurance left in the tank than you think. So let the message of this story be your maternal anchor today. Borrow the faith from this narrative if your own tank is completely empty right now. The dawn is going to bring a new perspective. Remain steadfast, push through that exhaustion, and know that your success is way closer than you think. But it does leave us with one final, incredibly important question to chew on. When you inevitably hit your next breaking point, whose belief are you going to borrow to help you take that final step? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.